Finance regularly scheduled meeting for Thursday, October 21st, 2021. And the first item on the agenda is public comments. Is there anything, Karen? Anybody?
Or not?
Nothing. Okay. Next is Administrative Officer, Director of Finance report. Tony?
Sorry, I'm having some camera difficulties here. So
yeah, I can't see your handsome face.
So thank you. I have a very brief monthly report. The only real item of note to discuss with you is that we were informed that we would receive a reimbursement of expenditures related to Storm Isaias, which is in the amount of $141,786. So that creates instead of having a $400,000 contribution from fund balance, that drops to $258,000 contribution from fund balance, as that is an unbudgeted revenue, and our fund balance is at 12.6%. On the expenditure side, we don't have any major variances reported to date.
Okay.
So we're doing well.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. How about the status of the audit?
So tomorrow is their last day in the field, and we're just wrapping up some of the final items. Usually the fixed assets are the last ones that we do, so we're just wrapping up our fixed asset inventory, and they're finished tomorrow, and we should have a draft audit by probably the second week of November. And the goal here is to have the audit completed by early December, because I said to them, gone are the days where we're finishing this audit up on December 23rd or December 24th. As you may know, our audit is due 6 months after the close of the fiscal year. And so that would be December 31st. So anyway, that's our current schedule. So far, there have been no issues identified with our audit.
Yeah. I got an email from them about, do I know of any suspicious activities or blah, 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 blah. So I answered it.
They reach out to certain individuals
Yeah.
without telling me, so that if you see something.
Yeah. Okay. Approval of proposed FY23 budget meeting dates. We have a schedule in front of us. And the next one we have to really worry about on this is the capital budget presentation on Thursday, December 2nd, which is always a good one to go to. And I guess we're saying if needed, Karen, the December 7th.
You're on mute, Karen.
So we don't know how many departments will be submitting.
Yeah.
So if the second night is needed, we'll do that.
Okay. And the rest of these are all important dates, of course. Joint meetings. And again, the last one here, February 3rd, is if needed, and generally we don't need it. So we'll say. And other important things, the public hearing, which I certainly hope is live this year, is Monday, April 18th. And the town meeting is Monday, May 16th. So I will make a motion that we approve the proposed budget meeting dates as presented.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? All those in favor? I can see everybody. Aye.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Ellen still didn't get to us, huh?
Just a note about the meeting dates.
Yeah.
So this week the Woodbridge is in the yellow zone for COVID. So if we have 3 weeks of yellow, then the board could make a decision on whether to meet in person.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this meeting, it doesn't really bother me, but certainly the preliminary budget hearing and the capital budgets, I think we could get by without it if we wanted to, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have a meeting in November, and then by then we should know better where we're at. Okay. Update on new budget book format. I think we have got a separate. You want to just run through that, either Tony or Karen?
So actually what we were supposed to have for this meeting, a presentation on our new digital budget book. We've had some staffing issues in finance, so we're a little behind schedule on it. So we're hopeful to have it for your November meeting. we did send you out some samples. Hopefully you got an opportunity to check out a few, and that's sort of the idea of what we're going for. I
Okay.
don't know if you had any questions on any, if anyone had a chance to look, but
Okay.
Alrighty. Woodbridge Board of Ed financial report. Tom's not here. He usually does this for us. I think, I don't know if any of you read it. They're projecting a 144,559 positive, but he's feeling that this is going to fade quickly. So it's early in the process, and I'm sure we will get updates as to where they're at and where they project to be, and we'll keep our eye on that. But they did a great job last year for us, and I'm hoping we have it works out again this year. Does anybody else have a comment or whatever on this? Anything else, Tony? Tony?
that's it.
That's
That's
it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so next on the agenda is item number 3, which is approval of minutes of our regular meeting on September the 14th. And I will move acceptance of the minutes of Tuesday, September 14th as presented.
Second.
Okay, any adjustments, corrections, suggestions, anything at all? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Still no Ellen, huh? Budget guidelines. So I guess, Tony, this is what you put together.
So I wanted to, we're about to send out our operating budget packages to the departments. And so I felt it would be helpful just to, put in writing, and so you can all see where the board was at the last meeting. And this is sort of the guideline we're going to present to the departments. This is mainly to make sure everyone was on the same page with this. Unless there's any discussion or anyone has any other thoughts, it was just more of an FYI.
Okay, yeah, I think this is pretty much what we said.
Okay.
And Ellen is with us. Okay, we have a full house. Next, first selectman's report. Beth.
Good evening, everybody. I had a lot to talk about. I kind of condensed it. A few things I need to just tell the Board of Finance about. A couple updates. On Saturday, October 2nd, I hope you all had a chance to attend the town's ad hoc diversity and inclusion committee. I guess that event was amazing. I was there. It was incredible. Called Woodbridge Like Me, which it was a celebration of the people and the culture and civic organizations that make Woodbridge the fantastic place that it is. And I wanted to thank the members of the diversity committee and, of course, your own finance representative and chair of the committee, Ellen Skeletar, for all the work she did with Betsy Agla putting this together. It was amazing. And they also had it followed the 39th, believe it or not, annual road race put on by the rec department. Next year's going to be 40 years of that road race, which is incredible. Human Services Commission recently developed with the Board of Selectmen approved it. Instead of, you remember that they used to have the Food and Fuel Fund, but the name kind of restricted what the funds could be used for, and there are residents that have other needs. So they developed a new policy, and if you need a copy of it, we can get you one, but it's now being called the Residents Assistance Fund. And they feel that the department will be more able to respond effectively to Woodbridge residents in need, for example, an electric bill or something like that, rather than just food or fuel. This is applicable to the Board of Finance for sure. Woodbridge Superintendent Dr. Budd had written to me that the Woodbridge Board of Education recently approved the creation of 2 new ad hoc committees. This is going to help with development of their budget. And they asked for membership from 2 members of the town and the boards, and I appointed Sheila McCrevin for the building committee. It's called the Building and Grounds Committee, and the other one is called the the second committee is going to assess and evaluate the development of security personnel at Beecher Road. So I appointed Sheila to the building committee and Tom Handler to the security committee, and I guess he'll give you an update. I think they've had 1 or 2 meetings, so hopefully he'll, pass on to you how that's going. Just a quick update on the two proposals from developers regarding the former Country Club of Woodbridge. We did have a virtual public information forum on September 29th. The second proposal from the Eclipse developers is now on hold per their ask, not ours. And this Monday night, I believe you've all received an invitation to at 7 o'clock, October 25th, via WebEx, is a joint informational session with the housing expert, David Fink. And there will be members from the Housing Committee, Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen, and I'm not sure who the other people that have been invited, other boards have been invited to that. So it'll be worthwhile to see, the response and how best we can respond to affordable housing in Woodbridge. Last week, we instituted a vaccination policy for the town, which covers all AFSCME, bargaining unit employees, and non-unit employees. And we're still negotiating with the police union on their policy. And the good news is, as Tony mentioned earlier, I've decided that boards and commissions may choose to return to in-person meetings once the town is in the yellow category for 3 straight weeks. Even though state law currently allows all boards and commissions to conduct meetings remotely through April 2022, a board as a group can decide whether or not, once we have 3 weeks of yellow in a row, whether or not they want to come back into. Last time we did that, we had 3 weeks. Everybody came back and one time, and then bam, right back into orange and then red. So we hope it stays this way this time. I guess this week we're finally in yellow, so only 2 more weeks. And just lastly, I know you've been informed and been copied on several security issues. So the Board of Selectmen met in executive session last week, and following the final report from our dispatch consultant, which took unfortunately longer than we had hoped due to COVID and some other matters, we have now appointed a 3-person committee to work on positive solutions and successful resolution to all the dispatch issues. Police Commissioner Andy Esposito, Fire Commissioner Karen Baldwin-Kravitz, and Selectman Paul Curious have all agreed to work with Tony and Mike Boucher, who's our dispatch consultant. And I remain committed, as I've said many times, to make our dispatch center the best in the state of Connecticut. So that's all I have for you. If anyone has any questions, I'm here. Thank you.
I was just wondering, I saw you on TV being questioned about that cell phone tower.
Yep.
I mean, it seems like it's going now. They're looking at another place, or any idea what's going on with that?
Or I didn't know if you needed. I talked so long about other stuff. There's so much going on, but actually, the last and final the continued evidentiary hearing, we had, I think, 3 or 4 of those that were just 2 to 5 every month for 4 months. Concluded this past Tuesday, and it is now sitting with the Siting Council. The issue, we have a proposed site for Verizon at the Public Works garage behind there, which obviously doesn't impact residential neighborhoods as the one at 118 Newton Road does. Unfortunately, the Siting Committee does not have a proposal for the one at, I guess the address is 15 Meeting House Lane. So they're going to make a decision on 118 Newton Road. That's all they have before them at this point. And over the months, there was maybe 80 or 90 residents who sent in letters or spoke at the public hearings. And we did our best to let them know why we thought it would be best in a different place. But it's up to the Siting Council. They will be deciding it. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know. I'm sure there's a statutory timeline, but I don't know what that is. But it's concluded. So it finally ended on this past Tuesday, and we'll just wait to hear what they say.
Just seems so bizarre that they would consider putting it right smack in the middle of the neighborhood. I mean,
I couldn't agree more. Yep.
come on. I mean, geez, I
there is an opportunity for an appeal, I believe, should they decide this.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe we can come back and try I don't know how, we'll do, but we'll see.
It's bizarre.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Beth.
Welcome.
Next is liaison reports. I always lead it off, so I'll lead it off. And with Amity, of course, we met Monday, and the big news was the October 1st enrollment report, where we find out how much more we're going to have to spend for education at Amity next year. So, and we actually did much better than last year. Overall, there was a net reduction of 43 students in the 3 towns, 24 from Bethany. I don't know what's going on in Bethany. 13 from Orange and 6 from Woodbridge. And the effect of that, of course, is that Bethany saves a ton of money and Orange and Woodbridge pay more. But Woodbridge's share with a 0% budget increase, our allocation would go up by $183,298. And Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. I think last year it was in excess of 600,000. Do you remember that?
Correct. Yes.
So obviously 600 and change as opposed to 183,000 is a lot better. Of course, the change is Orange. Last year had a reduction. This year they have a $197,000 increase. So I'm sure they're not going to be happy. But I did ask. I questioned, the 43. I never heard any indication that there were going to be 43 less kids at Amity. And I guess a bunch of people have opted to do homeschooling. So they've lost a bunch to that, and so they're not in school. And I asked, I said, well, what happens with a homeschool? She said, they basically completely divorce themselves of the student. They don't give them any materials or whatever. The kids can't play athletics or can't be in the band or can't participate in any of the activities at Amity. So I said, what happens when they want to graduate? And they said, well, that's a procedure in itself. They've got to be, I guess they've got to be looked at to see if they can really qualify to graduate, what they learned, what they didn't learn. So, but that was what they said. The reason it was more was because of homeschooling. So I think overall, considering the fact that, we're getting a large amount of money back from Amity, as I reported last time, this is excellent news. I mean, to go from 600 and I don't remember what the number was, 625,000 to 183. We really had to work around that figure last year. This is much more workable considering what we got back from them. So I was, and it's more money, yes, but I was pleased with, you go in there wondering if you're going to get bombed, and we didn't. So yeah, that's a good thing. Other than that,
was there an increase in enrollment or a decrease in enrollment, or it's going to stay the same?
No, well, Woodbridge, for example, Woodbridge went from 712 to 706, so we lost 6. Overall, overall it went from 2209 to 2166 for the 3 towns. So yeah, there's fewer students. Other than that, honestly, they're still running somewhat of a surplus. But one thing I've learned, and I think we've all learned based on reporting, is that what happens during the year, we keep watching it month to month. As we speak right now, it's 334,000. Things happen, and by the end of the year, it always seems to go way up. So we'll see. They don't have that surplus in the medical insurance fund this year. They cut it back, which is one of the reasons they got their budget where it was. And they're pretty much hitting the number. The first month was high, but now they're hitting the number, so it doesn't look that terrible. And if it does, they've got a huge amount of money in reserve that they can use to make up that difference. So again, this was the September report, so it's like 1 month of school, and other than normal stuff, there's really nothing to report. But again, I'm pleased with the enrollment report. That's terrific compared to last year. So, okay, any questions, anybody? All right, let's go in order here. Who's next on the agenda? Dwight, you're next on the picture frame.
All right. I attended the rec commission meeting on September 26th. Everything's basically going as planned. They spoke about the road race, which was held on October 2nd. I understand that was a success. They are gonna be a sponsor for the fire department trucker treat, which is on Halloween on October 31st on a Sunday. So if you're around, you should drive by. It's gonna be a great event. All their sports programs are basically on track. It looks like they are getting a lot of applications and they're all signing up. The pool lessons are full and everything else, and the pool's operating okay. And then the main thing they really talked about was the Arbor Haven was at that meeting, and they presented. And there were a lot of questions about the possibility of sports programs, maybe doing basketball courts up there or doing something else or whatever. So it's going to be on their agenda to talk about next week on November 1st. It's on October 25th, and I'm not going to be able to attend because I'm going to be at the other meeting. But they have a lot of ideas, and they want to present it to the town, so in case Arbor Haven is selected. So, and then I was unable to attend Human Services because that was the day that I had my hip replacement surgery, so I wasn't able to attend.
That's not a good enough excuse.
Hey, it is what it is. I couldn't zoom in. So.
Okay. Let's see, Donovan.
So yes, the meeting that was scheduled for Monday was canceled. And the meeting prior to that, the fire department, they're going to have that drive-by truck or treat. This year, similar to last year, they won't have the fireworks this year, so they won't have that large gathering they usually have at the fire station for Halloween. But they did reiterate though the need to go ahead and purchase that new fire engine, because the one that they have in service is pretty old, and so that was basically it. The meeting that was scheduled for the 18th has been scheduled now for the 25th.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
That was it.
Next on the line is Ellen. You're unmute. Mute.
That was my no. So I don't recall if I reported this already. I think Beth did, but I think it's really worth noting that our chief, Frank Cappiello, has been elected president of the South Central Regional Council of Governments Police Association. And that's real kudos to Frank, well deserved, of course. I wanted to make sure I put that out there. Two things coming up that people might want to know about. They're doing Coffee with a Cop Monday, October 25th from 9 to 11 in the morning and 1 to 3 p.m. to be there and be part of the community. It's at Starbucks, outside Starbucks, and people can stop by and chat with members of our police department, which I think is really important for a community. And also there's a prescription drug take back on October 23rd from 10 to 2. Another thing for people to know, I think it's important. I just mentioned this to all of you to get it out there so people, it's a safe and environmentally appropriate way to dispose of prescription drugs. So those are the main things I wanted to report.
Okay.
Where's that going to be held, Ellen? Where's that drug return going to be held?
I think it's at the police department, as far as I know. I mean, that's what I took away from it. I'll double check, but I think it's at the police department.
Okay. Susan.
Also muted, Susan, you're muted.
Susan.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'll just say that to Ellen's point, I know in the past that event has been at the police department. So in any event, I attended the library meeting. Lovely things happening there. Their programming is continuing to move in a good direction. The most important thing to report, I think, is that they they're finally on the straight and narrow with respect to their staffing for their children's programming and collection. They moved around some people and did some hires, and that all got approved, I believe, by the Board of Selectmen. That's all there is to say.
Okay. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to talk about? All right. Hearing nothing. I guess our next meeting is November 18th, this Thursday before Thanksgiving. So we'll see you then, and thank you all, and have a good rest of the month, and see you in November.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Karen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Thanks.